ka man dalhin ang kapalaran, iisang bayan lang sa puso mo'y laman, pinagmulan at babalikan, konting tiis na lang at hanggang sa araw na yan ay asal. Kami nandito lang, sabay na pakinggan ang mga kwento nyo, sigaw natin sa mundo, bagong bayani namin kayo. Sipag at tapang nyo, hinialay sa mundo, sinasaludo namin kayo.
Ako si Rose Eclarinal.
Ako si Jean Alcantara.
Ako si Crystal Dias.
Ako si Chiara Gregorio.
Sa JUAN, you connect.
Sigaw sa mundo.
Magandang hapon, UK. Magandang hapon. At kung saan man kayo naroon, ng araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Rose Eclarinal para sa live streaming ng One You Connect. Kwentong Pinoy, kwentong migrante, kwentong One You Connect. Ngayong hapon, makakasama ko pa rin po si Crystal Dias. Hi, Crystal.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday to you all. Hello, Miss Rose Eclarinal. Nice to see you again. Dito sa live stream natin po sa One You Connect.
Yes, so mga nanonood po sa atin now, please share our link. Share it with your friends and families because we have a very interesting topic today. An inspiring story for our very first segment, which is about this Pinoy na talaga naman, Crystal, nakaka-proud. He's based in Switzerland, Dr. Melvin Sanicas. Malalaman natin ang kwento niya. Okay? And what do we have for Immigration 101?
What we have today, it's a very interesting topic. It's an application as a parent of a British child, but there is a question about the paternity. So tune in po. Our guest today, a very special guest. She used to live in Ukraine. Now she's actually battling her own war dito sa UK. But we're happy for her to have on the show later, Miss Sheena Palma.
Crystal, gumaganda na rin yung panahon. So, we will be out later. Bago yan, mainit na talakayan muna sa One You Connect. Kaya, ipapakilala ko na ang ating guest this afternoon. Panoorin po natin ito. 39-year-old Switzerland-based Filipino Dr. Melvin Sanicas is a native of Iloilo. He has found his ikigai overseas. Ikigai is the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. He found his reason to get out of bed every morning, something that makes him happy, something that he likes, something that he is good at, something he can be paid for, something the world needs. For many, this is a fulfilling life. Dr. Sanicas makes use of his time and expertise to give valuable information to people. He made it to the 93rd spot in the Analyticus list of top 100 healthcare professionals, influencing the coronavirus conversation and for his active role in disseminating facts about the new disease through social media. He is also one of the 10 outstanding young men in science and medicine. He co-authored a book entitled Frontiers of COVID-19, Scientific and Clinical Aspects of the Novel Coronavirus 2019. So welcome on the show, our guest this afternoon, live from Switzerland, Dr. Melvin Sanicas. Hi, Doc.
Good afternoon, Miss Rose. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon, wherever you are.
Okay. Yes, hindi ko nabati yung mga nanonood sa Pilipinas. Magandang gabi na dyan. Ngayon, Doc Melvin, tell us saan po kayong bahagi ng Switzerland now?
I'm based in Zurich, so German-speaking side of Switzerland.
Okay. Nakaka-inspire naman yung kwento ninyo. Naibahagi niyo sa akin na kayo pala ay nag-aral ng undergraduate sa University of the Philippines, and also you took up medicine in UP Manila as well. So, paano kayo napadpad dyan sa Switzerland?
Yes, interesting story po, Miss Rose. So actually, after I finished uh, medicine and I passed the boards, yung idea ko before was to look for something na so parang path na hindi traditional. Kasi usually yung mga doktor pupunta kagad sa residency training, tapos fellowship and specialize in something. During that time, I thought I wanted to do something less clinical, more research, more public health oriented. And ang dami kong in-applyan sa Pilipinas, DOH, WHO, and many other NGOs sa atin. And unfortunately, I was rejected by all these organizations that I applied for. And
Oo.
so I thought it was a sign for me to look somewhere else. And so I found this ad sa newspaper, actually it's a Jobs TV. It was a role for a medical officer role at the Ministry of Health in Singapore. And I applied. And long story short, nakapasok ako dun sa trabaho na yun.
Oh, I see. And Doc, ang nakakabilib sa inyo, Doctor of Medicine kayo, tapos hindi nag-stop doon, but you also studied and became a doctor, nag-masteral pa kayo at nag-PhD. Tell us about it.
So I finished MD sa UP and then I did a postgraduate diploma in health economics sa UK. I also did a master's in infectious diseases sa London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and a master's in vaccinology and clinical development sa University of Siena in Italy. And then I am also about to finish my PhD in microbiology sa Spain.
Wow, nakakabilib naman. Is that your first or your second PhD? First.
It's a first po. It's first.
Okay, so may dalawang masters ka and now you're finishing your PhD. So Doc, talagang you dedicated your life in studying and research, no? Because when you're doing your masters and you're doing PhD, ang dami talagang research na isinasabak kayo.
Well, yes, that's true po, Miss Rose. But to be honest, mas gusto ko kasi talaga mag-travel and all these other postgraduate degrees that I have done, one way or another, they allow or encourage traveling to places where I do my research. So, for example, yung master's ko sa infectious diseases sa Italy, my thesis then was about influenza research in southern Spain, in northern Italy. So it gave me a chance to visit those areas regularly. Tapos, yung ginawa ko naman na Master's in Infectious Diseases, some of my research was done in South Africa, in the University of Cape Town. So in a way, you're traveling, you're doing your research, you're meeting a lot of people, you're also experiencing the culture in the places where you go to.
Wow, ang galing. And tell us about this concept, yung ikigai. Kasi nakakatuwang pakinggan. So I was asking you kanina kung ano ba yan? Is that a way of life? Is a belief?
So, yung loose translation po niya, kung may mga nakikinig na Japanese, baka sabihin, ay, mali yung sinasabi niya. Pero yung loose translation po nito is, it's something that you are good at, something you love to do, something the world needs, and something that you can be paid for. So basically, it's doing something that you're passionate about, that you're actually helping the world or people, and you're actually paid to do these things. So kumbaga parang it's a perfect combination of passion, purpose, and livelihood, living.
I know. So hindi kasi lahat nabibigyan ng ganyang perfect match
Yeah.
na nagagawa nila yung gusto nilang gawin, and kung ano man yung trabaho nila, it pays well. So paano kayo naging vaccinologist during the pandemic? Is it because of your current work?
So it started po really talaga when I started working in Singapore kasi my job there was as a research scientist for regulatory scientist for the Health Sciences Authority. Ito po yung parang FDA sa atin, yung Philippine FDA, or kunyari sa inyo dyan sa UK, it's called the MHRA or the US FDA.
Yes.
Yung agency po, di ba, na nag-a-approve ng mga clinical trials, ng mga vaccines and drugs. So I started working there, and it gave me an idea of what I can actually do with my medical degree and my biology degree na hindi lang, kumbaga parang hindi yung pangkaraniwang, di ba, na kasi nakita natin usually yung mga nag-PBS Bio, nagme-med, tapos nag-specialize, and then you have your clinical practice. And this HSA job in Singapore actually opened my mind to other possibilities na pwede palang gawin. And so it started there po. And then I went to Italy to study vaccine development. This was in 2011, exactly like a decade before the pandemic started. So kumbaga, I had this 10 years of experience and educational background that allowed me to be able to work on COVID.
Tapos nung nangyari yung COVID, nagulantang yung buong mundo, Doc.
So,
Gaano kahirap yung trabaho nyo that time?
during that time po, I was not working on COVID because we didn't know COVID, diba? I was working on dengue, then a mosquito-borne viral disease, diba? However, before I worked on dengue, I was working on tuberculosis and influenza. And these pathogens po, alam natin, one is a virus, one is a bacteria, pero ano sila eh, sila yung pinakamalapit sa COVID because they're also respiratory pathogens. And it basically yung background ko at experience ko from influenza and TB, they were very helpful in understanding SARS-CoV-2.
I see. Oo, kasi ang sinasabi, kumbaga in layman's term, if we were to talk about it, yung panahon ng pandemic is nung nag-try to discover vaccine is minadali yung lahat. Kasi nga, as you said, yung expertise mo, ang pinag-aaralan ninyo, iba. Tapos bigla na lang, the world, binulaga tayo nitong novel coronavirus disease, right? That scientists and researchers need to study that time.
Yeah, so it was really like a once in a lifetime event for not just for scientists but for everyone, di ba? Kasi it has never happened before na all the scientists and physicians in the world stopped what they're doing to just focus on one single disease. You know, this has never happened before, even with HIV. It didn't happen with Ebola. Ito lang eh, with SARS-CoV-2 talagang everyone stopped what they're doing and they focused on this one particular virus.
Oo. And then, so tell me, kasi alam ko nung panahon na yon, Doc Melvin, marami ring disinformation campaign on the vaccine. So, paano ninyo nilabanan yon? You being a scientist.
Well, mahirap siya. Mahirap po siya, especially now that we have social media, right? So, as many of us know, yung SARS-CoV-2, it's not the first coronavirus that caused some outbreaks. Kasi we had SARS-1 in 2002, and then we had MERS, yung Middle East Respiratory Syndrome in 2012. Pero during those times, na 2002 and 2012, hindi pa ganun ka, kumbaga, di ba ngayon parang lahat na sa Facebook na or everyone is on social media, and the spread of the speed of the spread of misinformation and disinformation, iba talaga ngayon eh. Parang gagawa ka lang ng meme, after a few seconds, ayan na, kalat na sa buong mundo. And so it was very difficult kasi ang ginagawa ng scientists ngayon is not just looking for treatments and vaccines, but also answering these questions na made up lang. Di ba? Nagawa-gawa lang ng kung sino-sino. And parang nawala na sa atin yung pag-iisip na kunyari, if someone says something bad about the vaccines, parang naniniwala agad yung mga tao, and parang it's up to the scientists to disprove na hindi yan totoo, which is very counterproductive to what we're trying to do.
Correct. So, oo nga, ang hirap nga nung mga pinagdadaanan din ninyo that time. So, Ngayon, Doc, meron ka pa rin na isang magandang balita because I understand that you are coming up with a book. Ano po ito? Tungkol saan ito?
So yeah, this is a book called Frontiers of COVID-19. It's a book that I'm one of the editors and authors. Lima po kami na editors na we were chosen by Springer Nature. So Springer is one of the leading global publishing companies for biomedical science, for social sciences, and I was chosen among these five people. Three of them are based in Australia. One is based in Italy, and one is ako, based in Zurich. And we were tasked to come up with a book that will cover different aspects of COVID, virology, epidemiology, vaccines, treatments, and many other things. And ang mahirap nga po nito is we started this in August, I think, of 2020. But because the knowledge about COVID is evolving, di ba? So mahirap siyang tapusin kasi every time na parang kunyari tapos na kami, may bagong variant na naman. Tapos kunyari tapos na kami, may bagong vaccine na naman na na-approve. So talagang it took 2 years for us to be able to come up with a body of knowledge na yung parang, ito na, parang may mga changes pa siguro in the future, but I would say that 80-90% of the things that we need to know about COVID, medyo alam na natin. Ang hindi na lang natin alam, kunyari, yung long COVID, what will happen to these patients with long COVID, and other future variants. Siyempre, hindi pa natin alam yan. But this book has summarized na yung alam natin from end of 2019 to beginning of 2022.
Okay, wow. Doc, ang tatanong siguro ng mga nakababata pa who would like to follow in your footsteps, gusto nilang maging doktor, gusto nilang magkaroon ng double masters, mag-PhD pa, maging vaccinologist. How to be you po?
So, I guess ang sinasabi ko lagi sa mga tao when they ask me, for me, yung most important thing talaga is to really know yourself, di ba? And know what you want in life. If science or medicine is something that can help you reach your goals in life, then I would say go for it. But if you think that it's not what you want to do, ay mahirap na pilitin ang sarili mo, di ba, na to have a career in science and medicine because it's not for everyone. There are many other careers out there that can also give you your ikigai. But if you want a career in science and medicine, you need to be, firstly, you need to be interested in learning kasi madami talagang kailangan matutunan, di ba? At marami pang kailangan matutunan in the future. That's one. And second thing that I always tell people now na medyo hindi na emphasize to in talks about careers is humility. I think you really need to be humble. You need to be humble to know that there are things that you don't know. You need to be humble that you should think about learning in different ways. Now, you will learn from people na akala mo you will not learn from them. So, for example, if you talk about infectious diseases, di ba ngayon we're hearing monkeypox na, di ba? Na maraming news about this monkeypox. For me, ang pinakamadaming alam sa monkeypox is yung mga scientists and physicians na nasa Western Africa. Kasi sila talaga yung nakakita ng cases ng monkeypox eh. Tayo na sa Asia, we haven't seen a lot of this. In US and Europe, very few cases na imported pa. So I think we have to learn from the scientists in Africa and the physicians in Africa. So firstly, I would say your interest in learning, and secondly, humility. You need to remember this, especially with the pandemic, no? Parang we were reminded that even if we think we know many things about science, we actually don't. And COVID has reminded us this over and over again with this past 2 years.
So, Doc, on a personal level, ano yung natutunan nyo during the pandemic?
One thing I think ang natutunan ko is, in general, ang mga tao, yung resilience. Kasi, di ba remember, early on in the pandemic, mga May or April 2020, we were seeing all these cases and deaths sa Italy, for example, that thousands of people were dying every day, na parang grim talaga ang picture. But this also showed us the resilience of people in general, hindi lang yung mga frontliners, pati yung mga tao sa bahay, na parang even if you just saying na kunyari ang kanilang contribution lang was just as simple as staying at home and wearing a mask. You know, these small little things. And then yung mga medical and healthcare professionals, of course, talagang kahit na pagod na sila, sige pa rin, pumupunta pa rin sa ospital. And even if they were very hopeless, kasi mas madaming namamatay nung time na yun, we didn't know what to do during that time. They were still going to the hospital and doing what they need to do and trying to save lives. So this was, for me, one of the best things that I at least personally have seen in the early part of the pandemic.
Okay. Basahin ko lang yung comments ng nanonood sa atin. Our viewer, Dan Revelo, wow, what a significant feat for such a young Pinoy. Te saludo.
Maraming
Si
salamat
Dan
po.
Rivera. We have Ria Yola Mendoza. Sabi niya, watching from Hampshire, UK. Ayan. Doc, saan pwedeng makuha o mabili, mabasa yung libro na you're part of? So
At the moment, Ms. Rose, it's not yet available. August siya lalabas, sabi ng publisher. Most probably, this will be in libraries, no, especially in school libraries. But it's available sa Springer website. They can purchase from Springer.
Okay, so maybe pag malapit nang i-release yung book in August, you have to come back and tell us more about it. Ang panghuli siguro, Doc, I would like to encourage you, yung may mga manunood sa atin now and later na mahilig din talaga mag-aral. Kasi nabanggit natin kanina that, my friend, si Dr. Don Prisno, and he inspired me also in doing a lot of research in terms sa online, paano ka, kung gusto mo mag-aral abroad. Kasi naikwento mo na when you were trying to find a job in the Philippines, it was very difficult na nag-fit doon sa what you wanted for yourself. So kung nasa Pilipinas yung mga nanonood sa atin at gusto nilang magpakadalubhasa in science, in the medical field, saan nila pwedeng hanapin yung mga information? For example, opportunities to work, and then secondly, for a scholarship to further their studies.
So first of all, I would advise them to look sa DOST website. There are information there about scholarships. Secondly, yung mga gustong mag-further studies, yung UP Open University po, UPOU, there are different graduate diplomas, masters na available doon na pwede mong tapusin without going there and living in Manila. For example, you can be anywhere in the Philippines kasi you can do it in a distance learning way, education mo. Thirdly, madami pong mga universities in the UK, in Europe na nag-offer din ng mga distance learning courses that you can do most of them at home. Pero you have to go to the city or the university, for example, once a year. So, for example, meron kayong mga 2 weeks na face-to-face course, tapos the rest of the year you're at home. So, kumbaga, ngayon, especially with the pandemic, na parang, di ba, we were forced to stay at home. Pero yung education hindi naman nawawala eh. So, kumbaga nag-evolve yung mga educational institutions, gumawa sila ng mga paraan para maging mas available yung kanilang degrees and courses to people wherever you are in the world. I think it's a good thing.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for sharing with us your experience, your journey, your work, and this concept called Ikigai. Meron ako natutunan na Japanese today. Maraming salamat and hope we have you back, Dr. Melvin Sanicas, sa pag na-publish na, ready na for out in the market na yung inyong libro. Thank you at mabuhay po kayo. We're very proud of you.
Maraming salamat, Ms. Rose. Maraming salamat, everyone. Stay safe. Get vaccinated. Get the boost if you haven't gotten your booster shot yet. Okay? Thank you po.
Salamat. Magbabalik po ang One You Connect. Ako si Rose Eclarinal.
Look out, 'cause here I come.
Take a minute to just think. Have you been living upside down, feeling anxious from the crowd?
Para sa Juan You Connect, ako si Jean Alcantara.
I'm Crystal Dias for One You Connect.